you.
All right. Good
Yes.
morning, everyone.
The final countdown.
I don't, it's the first time I use this platform, so I don't know if the light here is too much. People like the
I think it's
what?
okay. A little heavenly light. Yeah, maybe off. I don't know. Try it off. Looks like you're being interrogated. Yeah, that's good. Got good light.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
did you eat that day?
I could sense some lies. Bon matin.
Bon matin. I hope that everyone is seeing us. Like, unfortunately, like I was not able to go on Instagram live. Next time, I'm gonna use my laptop beside so to be sure that it works. But today is just like the first time I'm using this platform. But at least we are on. Technically, we are on YouTube and on Facebook on my page, personal page. And Jared, you had also, I think, you were able to share the link on your page. I think.
I think so. Well, I'll tag myself after once it goes. So yeah, let's do it. Thank you for creating this space, this safe space to have a friendly discussion. I like how you put friendly in. It's like we're gonna keep it
Yeah,
civil.
because people are like, debate is like, and I don't know if I consider it like a debate. Honestly, like it's too much. Like I don't know. It's like I feel like in a debate, not always. Like there's friendly debates, but
Yeah,
some people it's like there's hate, and people it's like a boxing match. Like you
yeah.
just want the other person to be like hit on the face and stuff like that, and
I think it's definitely like such a sensitive issue because it's something that food is something we all grew up with. It's such an integral part of our life every day, and when you have these habits and your beliefs, it's so hard to question them and make and change. Because like I went through that, and I know from experience because we've been plant based for 7 years, right? And
Mhm.
in my perspective is that you could thrive on plants alone. Like I think you could be very healthy if you eat raw, if you eat whole foods that are organic. It's just it was such a drastic change for me health wise, going from like the regular diet, eating just like whatever, to going plant based. Like that is a huge shift that I think everyone should try at least once in their lives, right? But
Yeah.
in terms of like, and again, this is why the debate it goes on because like there is no definitive answer. There's no scientific proof that like one is better than the other, right? Like
Yeah.
vegan, carnivore, omnivore. There's great books and documentaries and all these things, but in the end, you're just debating something like be it resolved that fact is stranger than fiction, right? Like there's so many angles to that. There's no answer. It's all just like opinion almost. That yeah, it's good to have a debate, but it's touchy. Like people get fired up and upset, and you can lose friends over it because it is that it runs so deep.
It's like the different sports team. If you take for the Canadians of Montreal, and
Oh,
then you have a friend that is
Rangers.
taking for Boston,
Oh, it's
you
over.
might maybe like unfriend him because like he's doing no, but like
Wrong team. Yeah.
it's as you're saying, like it's like on both sides there's like good results. But for me, what I believe is like, I mean, and I know like, we're gonna talk about it also, the superfoods, Purium, how it happened in your life and how it upgrade your life. And you will probably agree with me that it's like not impossible to be vegan without it in a way. Not absolutely impossible, but it
It's
does
hard.
help a lot if someone wants to be vegan to take the superfoods and add them.
Yeah. Even for an omnivore too, obviously there's benefits. It's just
Yeah,
I think really like it really boils down to quality. Like the way that we eat now, like the soil is so depleted that fruits, vegetables, plants, they're not what they were 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. They look good, you know, because they're GMO'd that way, but they lack the nutrients, right? So yeah, this debate would have been very different 50 years ago, 100 years ago,
yeah,
and I know that like coming from like a background of being an omnivore, and I know that meat. Like I think a lot of the obsession with meat is that it just tastes really good. It's not necessary. You know, I think at one time and for certain cultures now it is necessary, but they do it way differently than the average person does it. There's so much like reverence for the creature that they're eating. They use every single part of it. It's very involved from the killing to the you know the field dressing to all that. And I actually had like a friend on Facebook and I knew from my childhood, and I saw that he was a hunter and he would like kill a deer and then take it all apart with his kids and then freeze it and then they would eat it like all year long, right? And I thought that like coming from a vegan standpoint, most of them would be like disgusted. They'd be like, that's terrible. You're killing this innocent animal, you know. And for me, I think he was actually uh, like a missing link between how to bridge the gap. I think like our goal as a culture should be to limit our meat consumption. I don't think it's possible for everyone to go vegan. It's not a realistic goal. So we just need to phase out the dark side of animal agriculture, which is factory farming. You know, like animals cramped together, scared to death, like pissing and shitting and bleeding on each other, pumped with hormones and antibiotics. Like that, nobody wants that. I think omnivores, carnivores, they all want to end that too, I think.
yeah,
So to reach that goal is just you have to change demand. We have to consume way less meat. There has to be an appreciation, a reverence for it, and not really do it just for taste. Like it should be like if you really need this in your life, which you know, I think we could debate that, like the benefits of like eating raw liver. You know, like does that
yeah,
actually carry? Because my feeling is this: like I follow like a lot of like nutritionists and holistic practitioners that I follow who have like big following. They're very popular, and I trust them. You know, like their guidance is usually correct. They say that there is benefits to eating eggs and butter and grass fed beef. Like they can see that, they see patterns, they study people, they look at blood under electron microscopes and they see these things. I don't have access directly to that information, but from what I'm parsing from their studies is that there is benefit to eating some meat, but it's just again quality. It's like is that meat that you're getting, that steak, is it sourced from like a local place where the animal is treated very fairly? It's not lined up in some kind of death machine. So you know, it's like I guess the most humane possible way to do it. Um, like that should be the kind of goal. So yeah, I don't know where how do you feel about that?
yeah. Well, of course, like as you mentioned, the factory farming is a problem. Like on the animal consumption and stuff like that. People go to the go to IGA, Provigo, the whatever. That's the name of the
Whatever.
stores that we have here, the grocery stores. So they go to the grocery stores and they're really disconnected. They don't even know where the
Yeah.
meat comes from. That's the problem. I believe that's a problem. I agree with that the factory farming and stuff like that. Me, for my part, you know, I tell my people that follow me to eat like grass-fed meat, beef, okay? Grass-fed beef and if you can like find a good farm, like a really good farm. I found a good farm is like in an Eastern Township, like, and it's really good. Like it's called like a rigid. Ah man, it's hard to me to.
Regenerative farm.
This is more.
Tu peux dire en français si c'est plus facile.
Yeah, une ferme régénérative dans le fond.
Okay.
So
That
yeah, so it comes like, so you have grass-fed meat at this farm. You have like also pigs that you can eat, lamb. So it's really really great. Actually, I really really
mhm.
um, say that it's a good way of doing it. But if you're going to eat meat, okay, you want to go example carnivore, you go on at the grocery store like that, and you look at the meat, okay, that they sell at the grocery store, and that's for sure it's not good. They add like colorants, and that it's really chemical. It's a fake.
Steroids.
It's a fake red. It's like you don't even know if it's real meat. So with
And
that, I totally agree. But like a point that I want to say is like many people say, okay, and I don't say all vegans say that, but a lot of vegans are like, oh yeah, well, meat gives cancer. Okay, like they attack meat, but like if you consider, like, it depends of the meat, okay, that you are eating. Like if you eat, example, the meat that they sell at Subway, McDonald's, at Burger King, if you consider it like carnivore, omnivore, normal, of course, like the person is eating like the person is eating it like with meat and stuff like that, meat, bread, dairy that is like not the best source again.
they put on
It's
with
like, yeah,
cheese. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like all the mix together. It's like when people tell that to me, it's like, no, it's like it doesn't make sense. But if you really eat your meat like from a good farm, as I mentioned, if you drink, by example, a little bit of milk but raw, by example, here in Canada we don't have access to this, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But if you have access in the US, and you have like raw milk, well, it's great, and then I don't think there's a problem. I don't think it's gonna like give you cancer and stuff like that. Of course, like don't do big mix together and like eat like a lot of bread and stuff like that. It can be hard on the digestion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I still believe there can be a problem about the digestion if you mix too much thing together. Like,
There's no fiber in meat, right? So you need to complement it with some plants, right? Um, I think like because it's a spectrum of people's diets. I think on either extreme end is like the people who are eating just like grocery store, factory farm meat. That's all they consume, ultra processed foods. And the other extreme is like a militant vegan who doesn't really care about quality of calories, and they're eating like Beyond Meat and Impossible Burgers, and that like, oh, that's ultra processed too. So I think it's just as bad, right? So it's upsetting when you get labeled, I think, because someone will see, like, they'll say, oh, you're vegan, like they assume I just eat like chicken nuggets and stuff like that, made out of like wheat protein. And the problem there again is like the ultra processing. There's nothing quality, and I don't like the what Bill Gates is doing, like buying up land, and just like it's a move in the right direction to have meat alternatives, but it's a stepping stone. This is not the answer. I don't think Beyond Meat is a complete answer to the issue of change. It's changing people's demand, and they're becoming more aware, and they might think like, oh, maybe I could just get like something that's mushroom based versus meat, and it'll taste just as good, and carry some nutrients. So that's a better option, right? But it's just like we're in a shitty place right now where, like, I think vegans who are like really militant, who are aggressive, are the worst possible thing for the movement, because it pushes people away. They're not going to change their habits by being guilted into it or forced into it. It's only going to make people dig their heels in more. So it has to be through suggestion and just options. Like, here's another option. And it's great because I think people need to eat more plants. Like, whether you eat meat or not, like, you should be able to digest plants, and that in of itself is a problem. Someone might say, oh, I eat chicken and fish and meat because I have trouble digesting greens, right? Or I don't like beans or something like that. That's a problem. Like, everyone is meant to eat like that, and that has to do with gut bacteria. That has to do with, like, your microbiome doesn't have enough beneficial bacteria to break down plant food and assimilate and get the nutrients out of it, so you avoid it and you eat restrictive diets. Like, that's not how we should be living. So I think there's like this nice middle ground that we should all be trying to achieve together, where, like, yeah, avoid McDonald's. Like, don't eat meat from factory farm stores. Know where it's coming from as much as possible, and try to limit the amount of, like I think on the vegan side, it's a moral issue, right? You like, vegan is like, if it's a humanitarian thing, and then you have a plant-based diet, a plant-based lifestyle, or whatever. But, like, the goal there should just be information and reduction, just changing little by little, single, like, easy choices, easy swaps that people could realistically do, that they're just consuming more plants, just getting more. Because like, something I find really funny is that, like, people will say, I love meat, like, I like meat, but, like, the way you should be eating meat is in its raw form. You should, like, meat only tastes good when you add, like, plants to it, when you add herbs and spices and things like that. So it's pretty bizarre, like, how far we've come from that place of, like, reverence for the animal, like, necessity, like living in the woods and you have to, like, kill an animal to survive, versus now where it's so, like, hedonistic almost. Like, it's so, like, every there's just too much meat consumption happening, and it's like pornography. It's like, it's too accessible. It's lost its, like, magic because it's so in your face. It's everywhere. It's easy to get and it's cheap. If it was like something different, where, if you're planning to eat meat, then it should be like, this is the animal, where it came from, like, it was killed humanely, because there's absolutely a difference between the taste and texture of an animal that was killed, who had a stressful life, who was shot, or killed in a stressful environment, versus one that lived a happy life, that, like, didn't know it was about to die. It was just like the neck was broken or shot in the back of the head or whatever. Like, that meat is more tender, I think. I've heard that. Like, I haven't experimented with it, but I've heard that there's a major difference in the taste of that kind of animal. So it's just like, how do we get there, right? Like, how does the general normal person get to that point, who's used to just going to the IGA and buying meat, to this, like, the way we should be doing it? I think it's just little changes, like micro adjustments every day, like detoxing your gut and eating greens, and, like, just having options, right? Options are where it's at.
Yeah, you mentioned about like meat has no fiber, on that I can agree for sure. But with the plants, there's something that from my experience, and that's from my experience, it's not like everyone should live like that, everyone does like their own experiment. But from my side, and I started to saw that, like, to read about it, and there's many people I know, like, there's a lot of opinions on the internet. You have to really that's why I tell the people, experiment. Don't,
Yeah.
like, just believe what someone is saying,
Yeah.
and that's
Try
the
it.
same with Purium and the superfoods. Try it. You're gonna know. You're gonna see inside your body. You are like, it's good to try by yourself. Don't just believe someone that is saying it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and from my experience, like, eating, like, example stuff, like, there's certain grains that I cannot digest pretty well. Even, like, you know trying to clean my gut like a crazy guy. Like, for a long time. The beans and stuff like that. It's hard. Maybe, like, I'm not saying I'm never eating those. I'm not anti plants like hundred
Yeah.
percent. I'm not this guy like drastic about it, but what I can say is like I cannot like on a regular basis I cannot, and also there's like scientific proof that there's lectins and there's like stuff that it's hard for your body to digest. It's also there's anti-nutrients on the long term. um, and there's an argument that I heard like often from the carnivores that can make sense a little bit. There's a lot of plants that are toxic. And well, we cannot eat anything. Like
Hmm.
example, you go in the woods, like you probably heard many times in your life, oh, don't eat that plant, it's toxic for you, but this one you can eat it and stuff like that. So you really have to sort the plants. But the animal kingdom, if I can say it like that, like, well, of course, like there's maybe some fish that you have to be careful, but
Snakes.
otherwise, like otherwise, like there's many like animals, like their way of protecting themselves is running away. But the plants, they have like defense chemicals. Um,
Sure, like
so for me,
mushrooms that are poisonous. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, not all the plants, by the way. There's the fruits are good. I believe fruits are like the best. Let's say the best. It's not a vegan thing, but like if I can say it that way, it's the best vegan thing that you can eat. I don't know the best like um, plant-based
Yeah.
source of food that you can find. So it's not like I'm not against fruit. I eat fruits. Yesterday I eat like a mango and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to eat fruits. It's like it's not like
Obviously.
I on this live, like on the poster, I presented myself as like a strong carnivore.
Sure. It's
But
only like you only eat meat. Yeah. But a lot of people do that too. And like it's crazy that they feel like health benefits from doing that. From just like I know someone who just ate bacon and like
I'm
black
gonna
coffee.
tell you why. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you why. It's because like this is an eliminative diet lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, and especially when you have meat quality, like if like you're doing it with the meat from the grocery store, not organic and stuff like that, you won't probably see the benefits.
Right.
But if you
You're
do it
cutting out
like with
sugar.
grass-fed meat and stuff like that, and then you eliminate, there's some plants that you cannot digest, so you put that aside for a while. Like
Mhm.
you can just try it. Me, I encourage people to try it for themselves. If you want to try carnivore, not doing it like for your life, but try it if it's the way that you want to do it. Try it, eliminate everything, even like some fruits if you want, for just like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to see, and then you re-include the stuff, the foods that you want to eat, and the stuff, and you see what doesn't work in your body, and like
Yeah.
then you can adjust your diet, your lifestyle around that.
Right.
That
I just think
I
that it's like
believe.
it might have benefits, but an elimination diet, you could do it by like different ways. You could fast or mono fruit. There's ways to do it that are more sustainable, I think, than just eating like bacon every day. It's just like it's good. Like, people, I think, yeah, people feel the benefits because suddenly they're not eating bread and sugar anymore, and yeah, they're gonna feel awesome. They're gonna lose a bunch of weight, but what that could lead to, like plant-based people don't like people who eat plant-based most of their lives, and this is provable from the blue zones, the study in blue zones where like they're like predominantly plant-based, there's less disease and they live longer. So like someone who's going to eat bacon every day, I imagine they're going to have like clogged arteries and complications from living like that. But not everybody's the same. I've heard people like, oh, my grandma ate just meat, and she's like 100 years old, and does like the trampoline. So it's like, yeah, like there's exceptions, but generally, like I don't think like that kind of eating is the way to achieve the results that you want. Like you should go for something. And I agree that okay, so you're having trouble digesting legumes and beans and things like that. You limit those, even though it's a good source of protein and it's good for you. Like then like what how do you fill in the gaps? Like do you have to eat more meat to supplement the protein loss that you're not getting from the legumes, or could you do it clean? And I think we're lucky that we found something like the aminos, because it's designed that way. It's designed for people who aren't like initially it was designed for people in comas so that they retain muscle mass while they're comatose. So it's a profound thing to have pre-digested aminos like that that don't go through your kidneys and they're absorbed by the lymph in 23 minutes. And most other protein, including legumes, plant-based, turns to waste. Like it's not utilized, right? Whereas these aminos are really amazing that way. And I think that's why someone who's like looking to maybe cut out things, like they want to eat less bread, they or not drink alcohol or something like that, like they should have an option. They should have something like a green shake and the aminos just to fill in those gaps. And that's why I love Purium as a stepping stone for people who are like, I know my diet's not great right now. I want to like have more energy and sleep better and lose some weight or whatever their goals are. It's like they're not going to go from where they're at to whole food plant based mostly lifestyle. Like they can't make that jump. And if they're going to restrict themselves, then it's going to stress them out, and it's worse on your body to be stressed out than to just eat the bad food, I think. So it's like here Puriums comes in and it's the stepping stone. It's like you just add it in, add the greens, add the aminos and the biometic, and you just blend a shake. You mix it with water. It's super easy, and then you get slowly to that place. And that was my situation, because when we first started, I was like waking up in the morning. I'd go to work and eat a bagel and cream cheese, have like 2 coffees before 10 a.m. with like milk and sugar in it. But I'd also have my green shake, right? And over time, this was enough because I drink it on the way to work, and then I wouldn't need to eat a bagel and cream cheese anymore. I didn't need to stop at McDonald's for a stupid muffin or something like that. And I felt full and energized. And then you make better decisions, right? So, look, I know we're not here to like talk about this, but it's like it's such an integral part of the discussion, because no matter how you're eating, plant-based, carnivore, omnivore, like you should be getting nutrients from a quality source. That's really the bottom line. It's like you want to be very into the ingredients and where it's coming from. And again, this is why I don't like Beyond Burger and Impossible and things like that. It's like Microsoft meat, it's like not the answer. Like I know Bill Gates is up to no good, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure. Like Bill Gates, you don't know what he's doing, and then yeah, you don't want to eat any stuff that he's promoting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like sorry for people that like Beyond Meat and Impossible Burgers, but that's
It's
the
okay.
thing, you know.
I feel bad because
But
I eat it sometimes too. Like I'll have a Beyond Burger sometimes, but I don't feel good about it. I know it's just processed junk food, but I know I have like most of my diet is good. It's whole foods, and so it's okay to cheat every now and then. But it's again, it's like we want to influence people in general to make better choices, right? So it's I don't think the way is to be like you're doing something wrong. Like you should eat this way because it's better. It's just like no, like maybe consider that meat you're getting like has like steroids in it and hormones, and that's why you're feeling this way. Is like
mhm.
you're told one thing and then you're doing something different. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
the aminos are really great because like that's a really good source of amino acid that you find, and those. But like also I believe that the proteins from the animal kingdom are kind of great. But if you have again a good quality source, as you mentioned, that's important. Like if you are eating the meat, of course, like the meat that you find at the grocery store, the milk, the eggs, even like are have been like kind of like modified over time.
yeah.
They manipulated the animals like that. They can do like the meat is different or whatever and stuff. And then you mentioned the hormones. That's disgusting. That's for sure. The quality of the proteins and stuff like that, the nutrients, that's not the best. But if, for example, your animal is grass fed, also you can have good fat in that. There's a thing that I saw yesterday. Actually, you probably follow Gary Brecka. You know that guy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he mentioned about cholesterol. There's a lot of people say, "Oh, like if you eat that, you can have too much cholesterol." But he say, like, no, no, no. Like cholesterol, it's only 15% of our diet. So even if you do a change, like you probably like eat less like of the bad cholesterol.
Right.
Well, it's gonna just change by 15% in your blood and your body. So that's pretty interesting. Like it's just like cholesterol. That's another thing. That's another topic. We can talk about it for hours, but like for short, uh, cholesterol is like for me what I studied. Like in the last years, it's more like something that is there to regulate acidity in the body, like in the blood and stuff like that. So if, example, your acid, you know,
Mm-hmm.
your cholesterol is gonna rise up, because your body, like it's like there's a fire, there's a
Right.
fire, and your body's trying to regulate it, like with the fat and stuff like that. So that's pretty normal, and that's why also some people they get fat is because like it's a protection kind of, it's like it's
Yeah,
because you
it's
are too
interesting.
acidic.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And I think like to speak to high cholesterol and clogged arteries and like the top killers in the Western world are heart disease and cancer, right? And
Yeah.
medical intervention. But it's like they only get to that point from lifestyle, like genetics is only partially responsible. A
Yeah.
good expression is genetics loads the gun and then lifestyle pulls the trigger. So it's like you're preloaded to maybe be obese because of your genetics or have cancer, but your lifestyle can make or break what's going to happen to you. So, like and just to speak to your point where you're saying like certain plants are deadly and they protect themselves, like seemingly like a pig is like an option to eat, but this is an animal that like doesn't secrete its toxins. Like it's stored in its body and it goes to the feet, and then people eat pig's feet, and it's like it's really like unimaginable that has become like a source of food, where people have just normalized eating pigs. And like there's this documentary on Netflix, like You Are What You Eat. It's like a series, right? And I don't know, it does seem to has a bit of a vegan agenda or whatever, but not to say that's like a bad thing. It's a little too like over the head. Like you could see the corporate influence in there, which I didn't like, but the overall message is strong. It's saying like, if you could eat organic plant-based food, you're going to like do good stuff for your gut, and like you'll be able to eat a diverse, you can eat the rainbow, right? You're not going to have to restrict yourself, which I think is the ultimate goal. I think we just want to be able to eat whatever we want and not get bloated and tired and sick and drain our wallets. But yeah, like that movie where it's just showing, it's proof that like
That's a
the
movie or a documentary?
it's like a series, a documentary series.
Staring on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I've seen a lot of competing things, like people, like when you read like YouTube comments and Facebook and stuff, like you get a taste of what, like a measure of what's out there. And a lot of people are like, this is great. Like this really justifies my bias against like eating animals. And other people are like, this is like vegan propaganda. And this is like, it's
Yeah,
just really pushes a lot of buttons. But like in the end, it's like, yeah, these people who go plant-based and they're seeing it directly, they're measuring it on twins, like biologically identical twins, and then one eats a certain way, one eats another way, and then they do these measurements like in the gut and like the stool and the blood and everything, right? And generally speaking, like they do better on the plant-based. Like they don't have, they're less like they all lose weight. They have healthier fat stores. And but again, this is like a radical shift for a lot of those people. Like they were eating not so great quality things, and then they shifted. Every single meal was like prepared for them, and it was all like organic and like perfect. And people don't eat like that. Like it's impossible to eat like that. So it's not really realistic for someone to take that on. But
yeah,
for most people just need access. Like you just need accessibility, and luckily we have that now.
yeah. I heard about this series documentary, and as you mentioned, a lot of people are like, there's this is like vegan propaganda or whatever, or the vegans are like, yeah, like let's do it. It's a good documentary, and then
Right.
the message is great. I think that's you are what you eat, of course.
Yeah.
We also say often you are what you digest. Also, like I believe
Yeah.
that's more accurate. But
That's
one
good.
thing that I heard about this series documentary is that um, apparently, okay, well,
Oh,
they gave the
it
person that
sounds
was eating.
conspiratorial thinking
No,
here.
no, but
Go ahead.
it's like there's like the guy that ate like plant-based, organic, and stuff like that. They gave him like less calories. They
Okay.
didn't give the same amount of calorie. I didn't watch it. I didn't study everything about this series documentary. I heard like some parts from the vegans, some parts from strong carnivores that are against, and I'm just like questioning about it. And maybe I should watch it, like just to know about it. Of course, like it's like if I watch it, I don't see everything also. Like I don't see behind the scene and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that you can questions about that. It's like example, there's the you remember the documentary like Game Changers, right?
Yeah.
I think it's from the same director, I think. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah. Something like same production team or something. I'm not sure.
So, and then there's a thing that, of course, like, again, there's a lot of people that, and that's the point. Oh, we have a comment on YouTube
Oh,
from,
cool.
oh, that's good. Watching it, we're gonna, watching it probably is probably a good start. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course. It's a good start. I believe it.
That's good.
I like this
Yeah.
option, Jared. That's funny to have this comment, like, at
Yeah.
the bottom
So
of the
thank you,
screen.
Race Lever.
So
That's
yeah, of course, watching it, it's a great start. But like, you can also like, um, read about it. Of course, like I'm gonna watch some parts of it. But again, it's like the documentary Game Changer. That's funny for me because of course there's vegans and that, and I think it was like, was it like James Cameron doing like the Game Changers?
yeah. Yeah. He was involved with it.
That's like why I
Sure.
believe sometimes like it's vegan propaganda and stuff like that. It's like example James Cameron's mentioned one day say like testosterone is a toxic thing. It's toxic. We should like get rid of testosterone totally. But for
Yeah.
me, it's like, what the hell is
Yeah.
is saying there? Like it's like I
It's
cannot
what's the
like I don't
yeah.
want to give my money to this man anymore. Like, that's the fact because like if it feels like he doesn't know about testosterone, and then it's not, when we talk about like toxic masculinity, like we said, I believe that toxic masculinity is because like people lack of testosterone actually, and
Yeah.
that they're not balanced with their masculinity enough. So like the feminine side comes, and there's nothing bad in that, and that's not the subject, of course, but we are into that right now. So let's talk about it a little bit.
Well, I
But
think that hormone imbalance is actually a result of over meat consumption. I think like people like chickens and stuff that are
that
pumped
means
with hormone meat like that. Like in that documentary is an interesting thing. It's there's a guy they interview this factory farmer who does like chicken coops, where they cram like a billion chickens into this like hen house. Like he's like, I don't eat chicken anymore. I don't eat chicken from places like this because I know what goes on. So that's a testament that like there's some shady shit going on. You should not be eating like that. And when you talk about like lowered testosterone levels and mental illness and depression, like this is stemming from gut issues, from consuming animals that have antibiotics in them and hormones that are injected, just so that they could survive the that processing. So that's pretty dark, and I don't think the answer is this like processed food. They show a lot in that documentary, like like cheeses like that are nut based and Beyond Meat and things like that. And it's just like they don't really talk about the quality of those calories. They don't talk
yeah,
about what like. inorganic pea protein and wheat gluten, like how damaging those things are. That it's not healthy to eat that way. So that should not be like like these companies, like corporations, masquerading as health companies, um, because it's just like a substitute or an alternative is bullshit. Like I understand why people like Troy Casey like talk about the vegan agenda and vegan propaganda and stuff like that. If it's towards that, if it's towards more like private enterprises like dictating what goes in our food and telling us what's healthy or not, that's bullshit. Like it reeks of Microsoft. Microsoft is the nickname Bill Gates gave to his penis, by the way. So, just fun fact. And that's
Yeah.
that's what will happen to you if you eat that way. And it's just like, the answer isn't to like vaccinate more animals so that we could eat them more. It's like, no, we should shift the way farmers create food, because there's not enough like space to do free range animals for everybody to eat. It's not feasible right now. There's too much demand for meat. The demand is way too high for fish, for animals. So it's like we have to reduce. Everyone has to be on board with limiting our consumption, and then we'll get to a place where you can have like clean soil, like free range grazing animals. The best way to do it, and even then, you're still going to have vegans who are like, that's still inhumane. You still should just let those animals live and not kill them for food. Which I think there's a point to that too. I think it's like we don't need to kill these animals, but I'm realistic and I know people will still eat meat regardless. I just want to do it in the best way possible.
Yeah, another comment from the same person, race lever.
Non-vegan processed foods and way more.
As if
Yeah,
there's, yeah, if there's, as if there isn't tons of non-vegan processed foods and way more propaganda. So in a way, of course, like I don't think like we don't live in a vegan world like 100%, and you have a lot of McDonald's and stuff like that. You have this propaganda, you watch the Olympic Games and then McDonald's and then that, and then it supports, it's supposed to be like sports, health, and stuff like that, not about
yeah,
McDonald's and stuff like that. So of course there's a lot of propaganda, and that's why I say also carnivore like agenda, because like of
yeah,
course there's people making money on that side also,
yeah.
but
It's big industry.
often, so the best that you can do, either if you want to be vegan, is to eat like non-processed food, and if you want to eat carnivore or more meat, don't eat processed food also, and find like a good farm doing it. And don't try to just like eat meat. You can eat a little bit of plants, some fruits. Just listen to your body, like just decide, like not decide, but see what works and stuff like that. uh
Are you?
because we have other comments entering like from YouTube.
Oh yeah, you're popular, bro.
It's
Yeah.
popular. I don't know. You mentioned the word vegan, then all of a sudden, everyone is worried about propaganda, processed foods, and trans rights.
Yeah. It's a tricky world to navigate, and I think like
Yeah.
there is like I think industry like greed focused profit based industry has tainted the word. They've come in and they've claimed to have found like a pathway towards a vegan world, but it's just more processed garbage that makes people sick, that feeds into the pharma industry, and it's not ideal. But again, we're in the progress, and they acknowledge that in the documentary too. They say like Beyond Meat isn't perfect, Impossible Meat is obviously not perfect, but at least it's like a path where we're on this pathway. Hopefully, ideally, I'm an optimist. I think we're actually going to get to a point where meat consumption is going to drop way, 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 way down, and people will have a reverence again for it. We'll use every single part of the animal, and there'll be an appreciation for it. And that's just like the that harmony that's been so perverted now that people have lost their way, and it's just like obviously there's going to be fighting about it because it is so sensitive. So yeah, like I think this is cool, like to have this conversation and to talk about quality of calories versus like quantity, because like people just don't understand what it means to be able to digest food. Like I think they have a real, like a lot of, we talk to a lot of different people, you know, with Purium, we talk to like thousands of people with all different kinds of health issues, and they're looking for solutions. They want to have root cause solutions to why they can't digest, why they have IBS or Crohn's or mental illness or skin problems, like, and they want to get to the root cause of that. And it's, if it's lifestyle, then what choices do I make? What do I eat, right? We tell them add the purium in, add these superfoods in, because this is like the cleanest quality food you can get, and you're flooding your body with nutrients
Mhm.
from wheatgrass and buckwheat and quinoa, things you wouldn't juice and eat every day. So you're getting this abundant uh, for your gut flora. Then eat very mindfully, you know, and that's your name, right? You're the mindful man. So it's just having that kind of respect and reverence and understanding of where the food comes from. So yeah, in the end, I think it's like there's people, there's businesses and companies out there doing great things. They're making good positive influence and change, and you have to vote with your dollar by supporting those companies and those people versus buying from Kraft and eating, you know, Tyson chicken butterball bullshit, you know, like it's, I don't know if anyone who's here watching eats that way, but chances are you know somebody who does. So if you could inform them about why you shouldn't eat that way and the complications it could lead to, not only for your health but for the planet, then that's a good move. That's like that's the direction we should be going.
Yeah, like that's, I encourage the people to eat like a good quality of plants because we didn't talk much about that, but like we talk about the quality, but about the glyphosate and stuff like that, and the
Yeah.
plants and stuff like that. If you eat like plants that are not organic, there's not like so much nutrition. Well, it's not gonna nourish you. You're gonna probably react to the plants. So
Yeah.
that's also what I tell my people, eat like good quality plants. And even we can talk about a little bit about Troy Casey, like, he's doing the same also, like good quality plants. He's eating, he's not like 100% carnivore, you know, and that's the same for me also. Like, I'm like, hey, like, look also at cats, you have cats now,
Yeah.
Jared.
Uh-huh.
So some two cats. I got one cat also like last year, and then a cat eat a little bit of plants,
Right.
not like mainly plants. Like, of course, it's like a cat is more carnivore than us. It's like the biology of the cat is like to eat mainly meat, organs, and stuff like that. But it still eat plants,
Hmm.
a little
Yeah.
bit of fruits, a little bit of like herbs and stuff like that.
It's a mixture. Yeah, absolutely. I think like humans are like rats. Like they could survive off anything. We could eat like garbage, like fat trimmings, and you know still live. You know, but you're not like thriving like that. You're creating like genetic mutations of you know in your bloodline of like just you know people like you just can't eat normal food anymore because you're used to eating a certain way and um, you know, it's just silly to me that like people can't see through a lot of the like messaging and suggestions with meat. Like they see like the Got Milk campaign, and it was just like you know a lot of those celebrities in those commercials don't even drink milk. Like they're just taking a paycheck and being like, yeah, milk's good for you. Like that kind of shit like still goes on to this day where there's just like a lot of misinformation to navigate, but just look to people who are healthy. And Troy Casey, yeah, he's a super healthy guy. He's like, you know, ripped at 50, and but he has a balance. You know, he's eating a lot of meat for sure, but it's as quality as you can get, and he has purium. You know, he's takes like
It's to
100
find
aminos
your
a day. So
it's to find your own balance, in that. And even for me right now, maybe it's because like, and then, I say it because like that I was vegan for like few years, well, many years, at least like 7 years,
Hmm.
no,
Yeah.
8 years actually. And then, right now I eat meat, but like, I believe, and I do believe for everyone, like you don't have to do the same exact diet that you're doing for your whole life. Sometimes like you're gonna
Yeah.
probably get more stress in your life. You're gonna work out more. You're gonna do some other stuff that it's gonna change your needs.
Sure. You have
And
to evolve.
then raised lever is like in fire today. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for your
brother.
comments to entertain your or life. You do realize there is objectively no such thing as physiological human carnivore, right? And my point is not to say that the human is carnivore. My point is to say that we can digest meat, but it's not like about saying, hey, like the human should be like 100% carnivore. There's interesting stuff on that. There's like a doctor called Anthony Chaffee, and he believes that guy that we should eat like 100% like carnivore, like, no plants, no fruit and stuff like that. There's like many, many opinions on that. I do believe we can digest some plants, as I mentioned, and I agree a lot with Jared on a lot of points, actually. And but when we compare, like we always compare like some monkeys with humans and say, oh, look at the digestive tract, look
Right.
at that and look at the
The
you
feet.
know the gut and stuff like that. But then we are a little bit different from the monkeys also, and even some monkeys are not like 100% vegan. There's some that eat some animal product a little bit. Like it's like not the majority, of course. Like they're not carnivore like 100%. They eat a lot of plants,
Right.
leafy greens especially, and that's the greens that I tell the people to eat more. Because we're more able to digest them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I believe also. But at the same time, being for me 100% vegan is probably not the way on the long term, for a good nutrition. Of course, like having plants with good nutrition, like with the purium stuff, you know. Another comment right here.
If I could just address like that idea of like a carnivore, like humans are meant to be carnivore, I totally agree. And it's like to think that if you're like, it's really dangerous to eat an animal that eats other animals. Like, to eat a wolf meat or like bear meat. Um, Generally we eat animals that are herbivores. And that's really fucked up to think that like if you were to eat wolf meat, you're ingesting like DNA, like toxic DNA that could really mess you up. So I think that's like a testament to like uh, what the natural way of things is. You're not supposed to eat animals that eat other animals. So and also the fact that like domesticated animals that eat the same kinds of foods that we eat, they get obese, they get cancer, and you never see that in the natural world. You don't see fat, sick animals with that are with cancer. Like it's just because of the domesticated diet. And if they're eating like, I think if you feed your animal like good quality like organic stuff, like they're not going to get sick necessarily as easily. But the ones that aren't, that are eating like whiskas and just like Purina, like they're meant to get sick. Like it's designed that way so that they get sick and then they need to buy medications and get surgeries and shit. And it's just this toxic industry. So what's race going on about? What he's got to
Yeah,
say?
he says like, but it's still quite clear apes thrive on a vegan foods. But again, like that's about history and like it's fucked up. Like anybody, like, and for me, I can tell like it's hard to know really like in the past what happened. Like anybody, like example, a vegan company can like try to put a lot of money to try to find something back like millions years ago, like and say, oh, like look, like we were vegan before, right?
Right.
But and even like he says, like there's another comment, not history. humans are currently literally scientifically classified as apes.
Mhm.
Well, that's a big topic. Of course, we can talk about that for hours. Me, I just like encourage the people to listen to their body, and that's what I did on my part. And since I added back like animal products, I feel great. I feel great. I still have the same amount of energy, even more. My workouts are better. I do so there's a lot of stuff that and of course, like we didn't talk much about that because that was not the point today, but like having the superfoods helped me before when I was like vegan, like plant-based, it helped me for sure. It's a big like change. It can really help you. If you're vegan, you want to stay vegan, I'm fine with that. I think like behind like both, behind being carnivore and behind being like vegan, there's good intentions. The
Right.
person wants to be conscious about his lifestyle, to be mindful, and that's what is important to me. If you are great with that decision, that's what counts to me. It's not like to be pushy and stuff like that. I'm not here to promote like a big box of grass-fed meat and with a promo code.
Yeah, right. I'm sure you do. It's okay.
And then the
It's
race
like,
lever is saying like cigarette smokers feel better when they smoke. Well, yeah, well, depends. Like you have like all the things beside like you're gonna start like coughing and stuff like that, and you don't really like you have maybe this boost of adrenaline. But me, I'm talking about like during the 24 hours, like how you feel. It's not like just when you eat and you're like you have this dopamine and stuff like that.
right.
That's not about that.
So the hormone like adrenaline and dopamine releases that you feel temporarily from the meat, you feel like there's actually like it's beyond short-term benefits. Like you sleep better, you have clearer skin, more energy, whatever. These
Yeah,
the
my skin is better. Also, like I got like some comments recently. I was shocked myself, but I saw the picture before and after, and even my face. I didn't get fat. Like an obese person. I'm still like kind of skinny, and you saw me in person, right? I'm not like getting
right,
fat
right.
and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that. It's more like my face took like a good proportion with, the animal fats. Maybe it's not just that, it's good nutrition also. Of course, it's a good nutrition. It's not just by eating meat from the grocery store because I don't eat that kind of meat. But I got this comment from someone and the person told me, oh yeah, like you got like really like your face changed, like you look more healthy and stuff like that. I got some comments about that. My skin on my back, I had always a little bit of acne, and now it's like disappearing.
Hmm.
Uh, little, but when I was vegan, it was hard to get rid of that. You know, I can tell, of course, the superfood and cleaning your gut helped. It helped. Like it's really helped. Like it's really like get rid of what like maybe your body like was you had toxins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I believe that. But also I think like the fact that I added maybe like healthy fats and stuff like that was like the balance to that, like, and then my body needed that.
Sure. Look, I get you, man. I think like this is why it's an interesting discourse. I just think that you know if you're saying like meat, it's like in our coding, like our primal urge is to eat meat, we need it, then you should be able to go and like find a baby goat in a field and have no moral question about cutting its throat and then peeling its skin off and field dressing it and then cutting it up and storing it or eating it or whatever. Like you should have that connection to the meat you're eating, right? Which I don't know if you're willing to do something like that, because that to me it's like if I was stuck in the forest with my family and we had to survive, yeah, I would probably kill a deer or I would do these things even though I find it like morally like awful to have to do that to end a life so that I could feel sustained. If it came out of necessity and survival, yes, that's okay. But it's like, how do you justify doing something? you're just having someone else do the dirty work, as it were. Like you want the end result without taking the steps to get there. You know what I mean? So I think that's an important question to ask. Morally, what that means. I'm not saying you're a bad person because you have someone else murder animals for you. It's just that it's like
Yeah.
if we had a clearer connection there, then I think we would make different choices.
Yeah, of course, like, myself, like I would like to hunt. Like I did the procedure, like I learned how to use firearms and stuff like that. So I'm just waiting for for my license to be able to get firearms and hunt
Wow.
in the wood. I believe that's, if at least you can try to do that and see what happens and like connect to the nature, that's better than, of course, even myself, if I found like a good farm doing it, and killing the meat themselves, of course, like you know I can share like this opinion also, saying that like a lot of people are disconnected, and they cannot like themselves like kill baby goats or baby whatever it is, like
Yeah.
with animals or pigs and stuff like that. So yeah, on that, uh, I believe. uh,
Is
uh,
Race coming back in? We got to get Race in here.
yeah, we another man did get this guy. I don't know him. I don't know, like, do I get do I know him on Facebook or something like that? I don't know.
That's cool.
Is it a troll?
Race.
I don't know. We don't know. It's just like real carnivore. So of course I heard this many times. I was vegan myself, and I used that, and but you know, it's a touchy point. As I mentioned, like it's also how you feel eating this meat.
Yeah.
Do I feel more hungry like eating meat? Do I feel more like that I want to beat someone? No. I know some people say, "Oh, when you eat meat, yeah, you're more like you have more anger, and like, you're like more like
Aggressive. Yeah. No.
aggressive." But then the thing is, like, I don't experiment that. I experiment more peace in my mind, and also like as I mentioned, like my when I do sports, like workouts, stuff like that.
Yep.
I have more like performance, from that. So that's a thing that I experiment. If it's not what you experiment when you're eating meat, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not there, as I mentioned, to push anybody and to say like, hey. And sometimes I will tell the people, try it at least. Try it
No harm in that. Yeah.
mindfully, just to see what happens, like with the real meat, like not the Subway meat. Okay. Even in chicken, they add like apparently some soy proteins and make it look like chicken instead of 100% chicken. So
Yeah.
don't eat that food. I don't encourage people to do that. You do as you want, but I encourage people to don't eat that. But
Sure.
look, it's not about like you should guys all do that, but just experiment, see what happens. Even
Right.
myself, I eat my meat raw. Okay, I eat it raw. Okay, I don't add spices and stuff like that. And sometimes I will cook it, when there's special events, right? But for myself, I like to eat raw meat and stuff like that. I believe I'm more connected to the food that I eat. I don't modify it, and that's how I do it. And guys, if there's some people, even as Jared is doing, he's vegan, plant based, and he's thriving, and that's great.
Yeah.
If
I
he
think we.
can do that.
This is the answer, though. You got to fill in the blanks with quality food and gut repair because the world isn't what it used to be. So yeah, this is great, man. I'm happy we had this discussion, and I think we've delved pretty deep here. I think I won. I'm the winner of the debate.
I don't think
no,
there's a winner,
no,
because
no.
I didn't want to that I didn't want this conversation to have really a winner. It's just like
Yeah, exactly.
that people can see like both sides, kind of like I know you talk a lot, and you had good points, that's for sure, like about like animal factory and like having good nutrition, and that's my point also. that's
Yeah,
that's important. I'm using pure, I'm also like today I'm fasting, but
That
And
counts.
fasting is a vegan thing. No, that's a joke. You don't have to be vegan to fast.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
just because I know a lot of vegans are like, oh, like there's a lot of stuff that are linked to vegans. Like fasting, dry fasting, stuff like that. We used to when we hear that we used to think, oh, maybe this person is vegan, but
Right.
I'm not, and I'm fasting, guys. So
I think it's just how we're designed, like, because someone who lives in the Arctic, like their genetics and their ancestry dictates like they can eat raw whale blubber, and they could eat like that raw fish and things like this because of just like geographically where they are, and it's in their blood and their DNA. So um, there is like a natural predisposition for those people to eat that way. I think people who live along the equator, like because they have access to like fruits and quality vegetables and things like that, like they don't need meat, to thrive. I think it's a choice. And like you're saying, it's like you're making this choice, and someone who's vegan, right, who's plant-based now, and maybe they want to do what you're saying, they want to experiment, they want to it's maybe integrate some animal products. Like, what's the best way to do that? Like what is the least stressful, the most sustainable, the smartest way to do that? Is it to order like raw liver pills from the internet? Is it to like make friends with your local butcher? Like, what do you do? How do you navigate that? And if you could help people with that, then I think that's a really good value. That's good service.
yeah, that's what is important to me is that people get good quality food first. So, and I coach people like on about like their lifestyle, even if they're vegan. It's not like I'm not
Yeah.
anti-vegan. I'm not like, hey, get out of my place because you're vegan. No, no, no. Look, I look at the person like, okay, what I can do the best for this person
Right.
so this person can thrive even if the person is vegan. If the person is open to eat some animal products, I'm going to suggest to add some animal products, like just a little bit of animal products there and there, to see what happens. But on the long term, if the person is like, no, 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 me, I'm strict about it, vegan, I don't want to eat any animal products, I'm okay with that. I'm not
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Solutions.
even
Yeah.
myself, I'm not like an extreme carnivore, like saying to the people, hey, you should just be carnivore or you're like fucked up. I do believe that animal products can be great and help your health when you have a good quality. But if you don't agree with that and you just want to stay vegan, and then well, I'm gonna still help you, with your
Sure.
lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think there's good options for everybody in every case, and it's like you're not going to like it's all about your approach, right? So I know like I've lost vegan friends because we weren't vegan enough, because we didn't like I made a post once where I talked about like if you do have to eat meat, like if you want to eat meat, then try it like this. And I got attacked. I was like, people are like reposting me, like, look at this fucking asshole talking about like you could still eat meat, but like you picking sides like that is it's totally divisive, and it's actually created by the industries to divide people because it changes their buying habits and stuff like that, and they like fighting because for media clicks, for promos and things like that. And I don't want to buy into that. I don't like that. I think what we're doing is a healthy way to have the discussion, and not to just like not be offended by the way someone eats. Like you could obviously have your opinions and try to influence their decisions, but ultimately people are going to do what they're going to do. You just have to lead by example, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see I see your glowing skin, and you're happy and healthy and you're fit. Um, and you're gonna go hunt too, and that's your thing, man. Get out there and do your thing,
Let's
and we'll
do
see what
this.
happens, right? I'll be
Yeah, let's
watching.
see what happens. For me, that's important that really you connect to what you're doing. Example, like, and that's the same even with the fruits and veggies. I encourage people to have their own garden. I don't have yet my own garden, but I can see myself to add it
Yeah,
over time. To get a garden and grow my own like veggies, and that's the same. Like people go to the grocery store, they pick they take their carrots, but like it comes from too far. And then whatever it is, even the fruits, like people don't even know like how it has been picked,
yeah,
like
yeah.
anymore. That's probably
Yeah.
not the same process, and you didn't kill like a goat, to get it, but you know. And then
So
today I decided to not like say too many like scientific stuff, because we hear a lot of stuff on both sides, like
yeah,
you go on the carnivore side and they say, oh, like science say that, and on the vegan side, oh, the science say that also. Well, I just wanted to share today my experience towards like, my process with meat and stuff like that. And even Jared, like, he really
yeah,
like, so he say like some good points about that,
yeah.
and probably we're gonna
Yeah,
have another discussion online about that. It can be interesting.
I think I would just want to end with the point that it's like a very harmful stereotype to assume that like vegans are like emaciated and tired and sleepy and low energy and like that's a result. That's if you eat Gardein and like Beyond Meat every day. And I've seen that. Like teeth are gonna fall out. You're gonna like you're just being poisoned slowly, and you're just depleted, and that's not a way to live. So that's an unfair generalization to assume vegans are unhealthy because it's like you see them, they're bodybuilders, they're athletes. Like you could perform at a very high level on a plant-based diet, and I think we just our common ground is like we want to end factory farming. We want to like not have to deal with the repercussions of that, and it's just a result of demand shift. We change the demand, the supply chain adjusts to match our demands, so it'll go more organic, more free range, and hopefully we'll just end this debacle once and for all. Live in utopia.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Like, that's for sure. That's true that, it's not all vegans are like tired and stuff like that with the dark circles, this kind of
Some of them.
stereotype. Like, I know there's a lot though. There's a lot, but not everyone. And you can supplement and you can do stuff and you can eat good like plants that are supercharged, like,
Mhm.
they bring the power shake every day and then you're gonna be supercharged with some nutrition. That's of course.
Okay.
Uh, but like, for me, I mean, I can't, I like to have the both worlds, have the vegan stuff, if we
Hmm.
can say it that way, the plant-based stuff, and the animals. I feel great with that, and that's what
Yeah.
is important. Also, if you don't feel great about what you're eating, maybe there's something wrong in your lifestyle. I'm talking to everybody. Like it's like if you're listening to that and you're like, oh, you know, even if you're vegan, you're vegan. Like, I don't feel great about that. But try something else. If you are like omnivore, like eating Subway and stuff like that, not the judging you though. Like we all come from far, but if you're eating that and you don't feel great and you're like always like sleepy and stuff like that and low energy, well, change something, just listen to your body. That's the message of this life also,
Yeah, yeah. Get some plant blood in you. I think wheatgrass is incredible for everybody to be consuming wheatgrass because, like, yeah, you can't eat the grass of like a cow eats it. Our bodies aren't designed to digest and process raw grass. So the compromise there is to have heirloom wheatgrass, which is like from the it's not the actual blade of the grass necessarily, but it's like that has benefits. That has like proven scientific benefits, and it will allow you to eat more greens and hopefully eliminate whatever's killing you. Anyways, I love you, Nicola. You're the man. Thank you for this.
it was entertaining with Ray Slever. I don't know this guy. I don't know who it
Thank
is.
you, Race. You're the
Thank
man,
you, Ray, for
Nicola.
your comments. I maybe don't agree with all the things that you mentioned, but still, I'm open to more discussion with you. If you can come on uh, my Facebook account and messenger me, or try to send me a message on YouTube. I don't know if we can do that, but actually, yeah. So, guys, if you don't follow me yet, follow me on YouTube, The Mindful Lifestyle, Facebook, my Facebook page, personal, but I share a lot of stuff to the public also.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nicola Cassetti. You can follow me on Facebook by that name, and the same thing on Instagram, the Mindful Lifestyle. So unfortunately, like maybe I'm gonna try to you know use this stream and put it on Instagram, the
Yeah, you can.
recorded
I think you can
version.
download it or something, re-upload. Tag
Yeah.
me on Facebook, bro.
Yeah. So
Superfood dealer
everyone, thank you for
out.
watching. Stay mindful. Don't forget it. Well, like whatever, if you're a vegan, carnivore, stay mindful. That's important. That's the most important. Eat your good nutrition and stay calm also. Like
Yeah,
don't push your lifestyle to someone, like don't try to put your lifestyle in their ass and like push it, like, and they have to
don't push
accept
their
it.
ass. Yeah, that leads
Don't
to
push.
complications. Do not push opinions up people's butts. Yeah, we could all be friends, like to say like for a vegan to only be friends with vegan people you can't be around, like I don't think that's right. I think we could all get along if we find the commonality, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's for sure.
All
So,
right, brother.
guys, everyone, thank you, Jared. We see you soon
Of course.
near us,
Yeah.
and you do something good. We're gonna do another live, maybe.
Yeah. You'll go
Uh,
out hunting. I'll be talking about plant-based recipes while you're hunting, and it'll be like a perfect mixture.
yeah, you do your recipe on the table, and then me behind them, like shooting, and then
Yeah. I think I
so
see Saint Sever varmint. All right.
yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe we can try that. Yeah.
I love it. Eat some skunk. All right. Appreciate you, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Bye,
I'll see
everybody.
you soon. Bye, everyone. See you
Peace.
soon. Peace.